Hello and welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk. I thank you so much for tuning in tonight. As you know, we have a special show tonight, so we can wrap it up and talk about the weekend that was amazing with our youth from Galveston Ball to Kansas City Hall. Our hometown hero in Galveston, Texas is Kimble Anders, number 38 of the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs has inducted him into their Hall of Fame 2022. As you know, they only select one person a year, and Mr. Kimble Anders was their selection. So we're celebrating, and we're so excited here in Galveston. So we have a few people in our studio today that's going to talk to you about our wonderful experience this past weekend. So thanks again for tuning in to the Simply Free Little Talk. I'm your host, Free Little. Let me bring in Mr. Kimble Anders. Hello, Mr. Anders. How are you tonight?
Doing well. How about yourself, eh?
Great, great, great. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad that you can share some information with our listening audience about what happened this weekend. What was going on with the youth?
That was great, man. It was being back in my community in Galveston. It was a blessing for me to be able to partake in that, and the kids showed up, and my classmates in Galveston. I was really pleased with everything, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I knew we had a good opportunity to do something very special. Uh, it made me feel like truly wanted. It made me feel like I had a lot of support, and that was the most important thing. And then one of the other things I noticed that with the kids in the community, I was so happy that they were so excited to be part of something, and they showed it, they expressed it, and they, enjoyed themselves at Rock Community Park. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the people that participated, for the volunteers we had, for the cook pepper, all the food we prepared and stuff to make it a special event. And I enjoyed it. The whole weekend was just amazing. It was a great celebration, and it's a good start for kicking off my foundation.
Yes. And speaking of your foundation, what is the name of your foundation, sir?
Running back, giving back.
All right, running back, giving back. And so this is going to be an annual event where the kids will come together for poetry and illustration.
Yes, we'll make it an annual event. We're going to do it pretty much the same time, by being blessed through the Councilwoman Lewis and the mayor coming and giving me a proclamation. We're going to try to do it close to October the 15th as much as possible, and we got to rotate around a little bit. But we're going to make it happen where we're going to keep that Kimble Anders Day alive, and it'll give opportunity. Man, that's amazing within itself to be honored
Absolutely.
by in Galveston. And that's really important to me because growing up as a kid in Galveston, you could have went any direction. So I'm proud that I stayed on the right path and being able to make an impact, and right now give back to my community and be a part of the blessings that community gave me.
Yes, that is amazing. And so your heart is really for the youth. And so we went all out. Team 38. Team 38 is compiled of so many different entities and agencies and representation of Galveston, the facets of Galveston, the many facets of Galveston, from Mayor Craig Brown and his wife coming on, coming there to present to you, as you said, and Councilwoman Sharon Lewis, who happened to be here. So we're going to let her come in so she can share a little bit more of how that presentation had gone for you on Saturday. Let's get her in here. Miss Sharon Lewis, how are you?
Hey, I am great. How's everyone?
We are
Right.
wonderful.
Wow. Well, Saturday was just a very humbling, I guess you would say, event. Mr. Anders being honored that day was just an honor for me to be there, and I know the mayor and his wife were just elated. And not only that, the program was just so awesome. Everything started on time, smooth, and it went so smoothly. It was just amazing. And what was most amazing were the kids. They
Yes.
were attentive. They sat over on those bleachers and they were attentive. And when it came time to participate, they moved to their spots and they did their job, and they were anxiously awaiting to hear who was the winner. And
Look
I
at
remember
you.
this one little girl said, "I think they picked mines up. I think they picked mines up." So, and when you see that kind of excitement in kids, that lets you know that you have made a difference. And not
Yes.
only that, but I love the idea, Mr. Anders, that you plan to take it to a level higher than that,
Mhm.
connecting those fine arts, which is awesome, and reading. And today it's 2022, but illiteracy is just rampant within our community. And I just love the fact that you're there. You want to give back, and you're giving back, and you're planning it on an annual basis.
Mhm.
That is awesome. And you're such an humbling young man, always have been. And I told you I went through my kids' cards, and I really did. So I did get
She
the
did.
autograph, got them autographed from Mr. Anders. So it's and they have a whole stack of cards. But it was just a pleasure to be there. Everything, decoration, the gym was just, I mean, just I couldn't believe, beautiful red, gold. Um, the kids, and I think that might have been calming for the kids because it was different. It wasn't like the gym, but it was dressed up,
Yes.
and I thought that was just awesome there. Kudos to everyone, the decorators, those who, like you said, the food and everybody. It was just awesome. A great event. A great event.
Yes, thank you so much. Raw Touch was our decorator, and that is Miss Teresa Williams. And I want to bring in our MC now because he did a fantastic job of following, and thank you for the compliment of the flow. But we all have to owe that to Mr. MC himself, media personality, Coach
MC,
Otis
MC.
Brown. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you all.
Welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk. Share with us your experience as an MC.
Well, it was a very humbling experience, and I didn't get to know I didn't know everything that I was doing until the day of. So I was kind of going on the whim. I kept reading over the script of everything that I would have to pronounce and who I would have to introduce, and to be able to do that for Mr. Kimble Anders, my uncle. I mean that was just a joy within itself because you have a guy that's going into the Hall of Fame. Me growing up watching him through high school, through college, on to the NFL, now going in to the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame, which we're pushing for him to get into the NFL Hall of Fame as well. It was just an honor for me. And for me and for my uncle to ask me to be able to be the one to host this event when he could have asked anybody to
Mm.
do that. It was just a great experience for me because no matter what, I'm still going to be a part of his history with that in Galveston. And it was just an honor in itself. And I was really happy that and excited that he asked me to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. And I appreciate you did a phenomenal job, as I stated before. It was excellence from the beginning to the end, and you followed through. And Mr. Anders, what is your
Oh, my,
perception? What did you see with
MC,
Mr. Otis?
MC Otis Charles did a great job. Like you
Yes,
said, we had to
MC
put some of the
on it.
stuff toward the end once we got the itinerary all packed down. And but just the opportunity of doing something for the first time, I think it went really well. And that's now those are the lessons we learned. And obviously, we'll have our first meeting probably next week and try to move forward and get ready for the next year. So those are good lessons to learn. There's always room for improvement in everything you do. So look forward to moving forward, and we know what we face with now. So
Yes, and we are really appreciative of Miss Sharon Lewis being in the council position, the seat to help us as far as the city to get the awareness out and just kind of guide us. So we appreciate your input in that area.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
Very
Yeah,
welcome.
yes, we thank everyone that was a part of the Team 38. Now we're going to bring the chef responsible for the good food that we got to eat. Chef for RD. No, I'm just kidding.
pip,
That's
pip,
Chef
pip,
for
pip.
Intervention.
I'm a little shy on the thing that, but it was a pleasure and honor to do something for my brother that we from day one. I can remember when we was
One.
walking before graduation, before we get into our senior year, we talked about what we wanted to be in life. and he mentioned one thing. I mentioned five, of course, but he mentioned thing he wanted to be in the NFL, and I mentioned five things. And my last thing was to be a merchant seaman, and we both made our dream come true.
Yes.
And I
Wow.
remember the day that we took that ride to Kansas City to go there when he got picked up and everything else. I remember the first bubblegum card check that he got. So to him to go into the Hall of Fame now and watch from where he came from to now, it's a beautiful thing and it's an honor to be his. Finally, he acknowledged I'm his best friend. Fuck behind.
That is too
but
funny.
but it, I get nervous when I'm going ahead of me now as far as opening up a restaurant and everything else. And it's something that people been telling me to do all my life, something that been instilled with me that all my family has done was cook and people come enjoy. I never put a price tag and everything else. So when I actually first did it, I was real nervous. Like right now I'm talking about it nervous. And then knowing that the place that I'm going in is sentimental because my uncle had been in that place for almost 32 years. And then my grandmother had the restaurant way back in the 50s and everything else. So that to fast forward to the dream coming true into that. And then about this weekend, I knew it was a blessing when we did the dry run, when we took the picture, when me and him in front of his thing, and the little kid stood beside us and smiled. And he would not get out of that picture. So that let me know then right then there was something beautiful. There was a number card that had everything going, that it was going to be a wonder. Even though y'all was getting fussed at, but that let me know right then and there. Now, y'all behind the scenes, nervous, looking at like I had to cheat a bit because I was pressing for time to make sure I got the food there on time because he told me almost like 2 hours ahead, oh, this is the time the food need to be there. This is the time the food need to be served. I said, man, this man got me pressing to the gum now. But everything worked out fine. I'm happy. It's a beautiful thing. Love you, bruh. We on our way.
Love you
Yeah,
too, man.
I love that. That's beautiful. I want to go back to Miss Sharon Lewis. Just you observing, not just being a guest, but also supporting what Mr. Kimble Anders is doing for the community. What does it do for you as a congressman lady in the city of Galveston, Texas? What is that doing for you?
As a council member, it makes me super, super proud. He grew up in the community and I grew up in the same community. And I tell you, I loved walking to my elementary school. I loved my central middle school. And I actually wanted to go to central as a high school. So the community that he shared, it's embedded in him. It's rooted in him. The people who helped him, raised him, it's there. It's there. So it makes me very proud to be the city council rep for the area and to know that he continues building a relationship with our youth and with adults as well. And that is just critically important that we don't forget where we came from.
Awesome. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Kimble Anders, we know you as Cooney. We know you as humble and a little still shy, y'all. He is very humble, but unless you know him, then you're not gonna get a real conversation. You get a few words here and there. But how was your heart that day? I saw you smiling bright. You always have a smile, but you're smiling bright and kids were pulling on you and you were so patient with all of them. Did that take you back to your childhood?
Yes, like I say, for me, it's really been it's been a long time for you. It's been about the kids. It never was about me, but I I love the opportunity to have a chance to show kids some things that I've been through in life and just share my experience with them and be able to put them in a position, like I said. And growing up at a young age, I didn't realize how much education was important. But obviously, over the years, and once I got to a certain point in my life, it is one of the most important things in life. And we missed out on a lot of opportunity growing up. But in our generation, in the 70s, 80s, we had the people in our community that made sure we did the right thing. You know what I mean? And I was one of those kids where, we caught the whoopings on the way from school. If you got in trouble, you were going to get in trouble by everybody in the community. So and that's the biggest thing, being born and raised in Galveston is something totally different. It's something you can't explain across the country because I know a lot of football players have come from there and they're known in track. And anytime they talk about Galveston, it's just something that's different from Galveston, from everybody else in the world. And like I said, for us in our generation growing up, it was just that community that kept us together. Like, it was just, I mean, even back from the jungle to the chapel. I remember I used to play at the chapel.
Mhm.
The streets was packed every day, and, Sundays on the beach. And it just was a lot of fun. But again, we learned a lot about life lessons and, growing up working at the Boys and Girls Club. And I didn't work at Raccoon Park, but I was there pretty much every day. We was outsiders. We didn't stay in and play the video games. We had to stay outside all day until the street lights come in.
That's
Street
it.
lights,
The street
problem,
light came on.
So just to man, it's just to see a kid just smile and enjoy themselves and have that fun, because again, you never know what people's going through in life. And I know right now we deal with a lot of mental illness things, so that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to as well, is just trying to help ease or be able to work with those type of people and be able to connect and try to seek help and stuff like that. And our community, I know growing up, our parents weren't too honed on going to doctors and stuff like that. Like I said, if I get a split on my finger or a cut, I'm going to the paper cut. I'm going to the doctor. I get all my checkups and I get my colonoscopy. I do everything I need to do. I'm not ashamed to go to the doctor. So, but just educate them. You know what I mean? Just giving them opportunity to do something that know something that we haven't been taught. So we want to provide that. And, we're gonna start the financial literacy program. Because me growing up, we wasn't educated on that. We know how to add and subtract before it's like, open up a bank account, simple bank account and stuff like that. So just take it step by step. So I'm looking forward to doing the work that I believe that's needed in the area.
So you saw the need and you're meeting that need, and you want to make sure that even our kids are cultivated in art and in poetry.
Yeah, art, poetry, educational. I mean, like I say, financial literacy, just getting a mindset of, and right now we have so many opportunities now to be, presidents, all the things that's come to fruition that at one time we couldn't do. So I think now is just a time to push forward and make things happen, that where we own our own businesses and we doing our own things of that nature. So and teaching those skill sets as well.
Absolutely. And that is a great thing. So, Otis, you are a coach and also in education. So, you did a wonderful interview and presentation sports wise on the stats and just the journey of Mr. Kimble's 10-year season with the Kansas City Chiefs. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Well, with his stats, because I was with him majority of the time throughout the way, and just researching the things that he did, because a lot of stuff he did in college, I did not know he did. I just knew he was a good athlete and stuff like that. But researching some of the stats from when he played at U of H, and then when I interviewed him and was going over some of the stats, I mean, he was wild by, like, dude, you was one of the top punt returners in the nation during the time when Deion Sanders was the #1 punt returner in the nation. And then it always baffled me, and I say this all the time, as I did when I was introducing him, for to be a running back and have more stats as a receiver, who do that? When you carrying the ball majority of the time, but you got more stats as a receiver than you do as a running back. So I think the kids needed to know that. A lot of people in social media needed to know that, because what I did was, when I was researching before I interviewed him, and my uncle, I always know when I be like, hey, I want to do this, he'd be like, oh Lord, here we go. What he's going to say, what he's going to ask. But I had to really research what I wanted to ask him, because every interview I saw, it was all about the football, how great he is, what he done. But I wanted people to know about his life, like where he from, how he was raised, the things that he didn't have. When we was at the event, and when you was talking about the pants and the shoes, a lot of people didn't know when he started playing ball, he would buy 2 of everything. Because like he said, when he was young, he wasn't able to have those things. He had to share those things. So I think people needed to hear that and know that, not just the Kimble Anders, who's a successful athlete, who's going into the Hall of Fame, the 3-time Pro Bowler, but him as a person.
Yes. The person who is humble, the person who gives back, and who has not forgotten his past.
And and you know, another thing I like to elaborate on, years ago, I've been with him since 1995, you know, 27 years. And I have the jacket on. He probably ain't noticed this, but he first started his first company, which was
Yeah.
Amber Sports Marketing Group. And I was over his public relations. So 5 years after that, he came. I thought he was firing me, but he was like, nephew, you don't always have to be under my umbrella. You smart enough. You like working with kids. You like sports. You can start your own business. And here we go. 20 some years later, I have my own business. I am working with kids. I'm interviewing the underprivileged athletes who's not getting nationally recruited. But it was all because off the word of him when I thought I was getting fired.
That is awesome. That's awesome. That's great. So, how has Kimble inspired you
Well,
as a
he's
coach
inspired
and
me
athlete?
yeah, in a lot of ways. You know, I coached under him, like he gave me a job for his own company. I coached under him for years. He was telling me to go back and get my degree, go back and get my degree, because I felt like I was a hypocrite because I was getting all these kids in school, but I
Mm,
ain't even have my own degree.
mm,
So outside of him and Uncle Pepper and my wife, they was like, especially my wife, she just woke up one day and said, hey, you enrolled in school and I'm gonna start dropping you off to go to school. Cause she knew
love
if
it.
I would have drove myself, I probably would have detoured and went somewhere else. But just from him telling me that, and then him getting his degrees and stuff like that, and like with a lot of these kids, like you saying, the kids in the inner city. When I was growing up, I didn't want to be like the professional players that I saw on television. I wanted to be like the people that I saw every day or when he came home. So that was the difference with me. I didn't want to be like a Walter Payton. You know, I wish I had the skills like him, but I wanted to emulate my uncle. That's why I wore his number in high school. I wanted to emulate my other uncle because they played together. So I couldn't have both of their numbers. So when I got in college, I was number 82, 84, if you just double it up. So they was the inspiration for me. And then especially with education, you know, he always preached, even when we was coaching in high school together, that it's gonna come a time that you ain't gonna be able to play football no more. And I'm a prime example of it. He was talking about himself. And to hear him talk like that coming from being a professional athlete, I think the kids needed to hear that. So that was my inspiration coming from him.
Mm. Pepper, the inspiration that your best friend
Oh
has.
Lord.
He's not even gonna let me finish it. But how has he truly inspired you as a brother, as a
I
friend, as a
I,
man?
I watched my brother, and I can say my brother. I watched him go being down to now, and we had this thing as a team we call Big We Little I. So it's always been Big We, never I. We always have pulled each other together no matter what. And I can remember when he got cut from Pittsburgh,
Yep.
I was working split
Got
shift
it.
out, and he was out of there. You know, he was on because his mind, hey, I'm going into the league, I'm gonna get drafted, this and everything else. And I get off of my split shift and I go by the house, hey man, anybody call yet? And he was just laying there. I said, hey man, one of us gotta make it. Come on, we gotta get up out of here. So I end up going, and me, I don't go to no library. Now I went there one no lazy reason. I went to the library, found the book that all the players that didn't get drafted, they end up going into the Hall of Fame. So I showed him the book and everything else, and we started
Sure.
out. I was getting off my split shift every night. We running down the beach, going on the sand, doing our thing and everything else. So it was a blessing from day one, me working with him now. And he still had that drive where he work out today like he's still playing in the league. And they
Absolutely.
get on me. Him and my nephew both get on my behind. And I fall back. And I fell back to 6 months now because do my workout. But
You have us all laughing right now.
yeah, it's always, kids call us Claude and Ray. And that could have been the best nickname they gave us because I'm the only one getting proud.
Only you, Pepper.
Everybody else see him that quiet person and everything else until you see us two around, and then you'll see him get out his element with me.
Oh yeah.
That's the truth.
I, I,
He's not.
he have always been the person behind me, no matter when I'm on my downs, outs. He's always been there for me, and I try to do the same thing for him. There's nothing that he can ask me I won't do.
Sure.
And he know that without a doubt. I get mad and I might fuss. What I would do. And the middleman, our nephew, he always initiate the mess and everything else. He always calls between both.
Investigator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but it's good for you, you know. It's
oh
a
yeah,
good
yeah,
thing.
definitely.
I love to see your interaction, and I love how you have also brought um, Otis up in the way that he's been brought up to follow the lead and inspire him as well. And he's also an educator. But I want to go to Sharon Lewis. You are an educator. How does that make you look at this former NFL player now being acknowledged by his team that he was with for 10 years, but his drive, his desire is education for the youth in his own hometown?
Right. And I think again those seeds were planted within his home. When I look at his family, it's the same thing. It's education. And as I hear these young men, I remember first talking to Pepper and he was like, "That's my best friend. He's my
That's
best
right.
friend." He let me know right then, Kimble, and
Yeah,
that's his best
that's
friend.
his best
But
friend.
yeah, I mean, and the nephew here, these are two excellent examples of the influence that Kimball has had here in his family and in his
Right.
friends, and that's critically important. And sometimes we don't know how we will influence people. And so now we have a business owner here in the community. We have a who's going to cook us some good food, make sure
Yes,
that
he will.
we get down there and support it and eat it and gain more weight.
Yeah, true.
And we have the his nephew who's in business with kids, and the idea that he never thought he would do it, but Kimball pushed him, positioned him
Mm-hmm.
to do it. He didn't. He
Right.
thought he was putting him out the way, but he just positioned him to move on. So it's just awesome to see our, and I have to say this, having three sons, black men make it, and in our community,
Yes.
not only that, but they give back and they share.
That's it.
And they have a great sense of humor,
Mm.
and that's a rarity today, and that's very
Yeah.
needed. And they care, they
And they care.
deeply care. Deeply care. So I see Kimball as wanting to educate, make sure that that kids get
Mhm.
maybe what he didn't get, and
That's
at the
it.
same time, yeah, and at the same time to uh, infiltrate their minds and their hearts. If they see kindness in him, then you can't help but be that way when you grow up and give back. So it's just, again, it's just an honor. And being an educator, we love that. We used to always be looking for people to come to school and to share, you know, to tell kids that you can do, and you don't have to be this professional player, but you just be what your gifts are. You take a chance on who you can be. And for us to see commentators, that's just great, because some kids are afraid, they don't like to speak, they don't like to talk,
That's me.
because it has not been
He said, "That's me."
included. Yeah.
See that kid.
So
Well,
it is just an honor to be here and to see you all, Kimball the most, but also your nephew and his bestest friend.
bestest, bestest. That's right.
Yeah.
For years, I loved them too. I love them all. I love all of you guys on the panel, and have a special bond with each one of you. But I want to move to seeing Kimball's excitement when those kids came in, and how they were just so happy about their prizes when you gave them. And those kids were so talented. How
Mhm.
did how did that affect you, Mr. Anders, when you saw all those beautiful, hard work in 45 minutes? Those
Yeah,
kids did
matter of fact, I was walking around looking at some of the pictures. I said it's gonna be tough. They were excited, and that's like, again, once you see that in somebody, you can't
Yes.
help but
Mhm.
have a
You
good
can't
feeling
help
about everything. So at the end of the day, I knew that was it for me, and
it.
I
Yeah.
was joyed to see them happy, and they was engaged, they was open, and they talked and they mingled with me, priests, homes. They mingled with the adults in the proper manner. It was fun to watch. I will say that, and then like I say, just to see the type of work they've done. Matter of fact, I bought. It was
Good.
good because some people, some of the kids wanted me to have them. That was really important to me. I was like, "You sure?" Because I said, "I could take them home." She said, "No, I want it for you." And there's one little girl, when I was watching her draw it, and then I didn't realize it, but she put on here, and this is like I say, the kids, they don't know, some of them probably never seen me before in their life. And she said, from Donna, love you on there. You know what I mean? So kids are,
Touched
and
everybody
that's
hard.
important. You know what I mean? That's a heart. And for some kids that probably seen you for the first time, just to share that with you, you know what I mean? It's just it's
Yes.
great. I mean, she was a good little girl. I sit up and talked to her for a little while, and just and again, get an opportunity to know them because I got to give them a little something. They didn't know me, so I couldn't just be back there because I'm not shy with kids. That's the only
Not at
thing.
all. They was all around
I
you.
mess with the kids, but I'm around adults, so I'm shy. But come down to the kids, I'm all in because I know how to talk to them. So, but I
So
enjoy being
good.
around kids. Man. I tell you, like true story. Back in the days when we were working, like most kids, so this kid is too bad. You can't do this to them, or you can't do
Come
that.
on.
I always felt that give me the baddest kids on the block, and we could change.
That's
And
it.
I've seen that happen time and time again. There's no kid too bad. You just got to find a way to get to them.
That's it.
I mean, you just got to find a way to reach them. You got to kind of go where they at. You know what I mean? So that's what I really truly get out of for the last 30 or so years. I've been in education and my foundation. And I mean, truth be told, like even in growing up, you know, at the Boys and Girls Club, when I used to work there as a child, I'd rather have all those kids any day of the week.
Any day
So
of
it's
the week.
just
That's
it's a
good.
blessing, you know, to see those kids just enjoy themselves. And again, I think presenting the kind of the setup, what you say, Teresa done a great job. I was thoroughly impressed the way
Yes.
it was.
Raw
It was
touch.
so I'm not gonna go there, but you know, it wasn't gonna be like that initially. It was like, okay, we're just doing an event. I'm just gonna do it
Yes.
together. She said, nope, nope, we're not gonna do that. And she took it to the next level.
That's
So the
right.
kids got to see some next level things, and that was
Mhm.
very impressive to a lot of people. So I think we can't go down from there. It got to get better
Not at
every
all.
year.
It's going up. We set a president of excellence and we got to continue that. So, and the kids were very pleased. Some kids had never had that opportunity to sit at a table setting like that. And so that was impressive to them. And then even the layout for the art and the poetry. So that was beautiful. So kudos to Team 38. It was awesome. Yes, great team. So what I would like to do, you have those pictures. I want to just take out everyone for just a second. I'm gonna bring you guys back in. I want him to be able to be up close with those photos. I mean those paintings. So I'm gonna take everyone out for just a second so he can show you guys up close. Bring them in. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, perfect. Now is that the one that said "Love you" on the back?
Yeah, this the one that got love you in right in this
That's
corner
beautiful.
with a pencil. She was a second place from
Yeah.
6th through 8th grade.
Yes.
This
That was
is
great.
a good one. Can you see it? There you go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And those kids really
This one, it got love with a heart on it.
yeah.
It was
Wow.
it's a young lady.
Come back. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so many it was a hard decision. I'm gonna bring Otis back because he was a judge. I don't know how you guys did. I saw all that artwork just spreading those bleachers. And
It
I
was
was like,
tough.
man, yeah, it was a tough decision.
It's at the beach. Oh no, that was tough. It was a tough decision. Like I told him, hey, I left it up to the experts to do that.
Yeah. Well, it was an honor to coordinate to make sure that we had everything in place and do the checklist of things. And I'm gonna tell you something, you were great to bring everybody together and see everybody want to do and have the same goals, to bring it to pass, to bless those youth. And so I'm excited that next year, what did you say? Next year, October,
Gotta be better.
do it again. We're gonna do it again. So I'm gonna bring Otis in since now we showed off the work. So he showed off about 3 or 4.
Mhm.
How difficult that was because you guys had a full bleach of paintings.
Well, it was very difficult, and what we was looking for creativity, seeing what they was doing and what they was posing for the city of Galveston, and what they was putting inside the paintings that was involving Mr. Kimble Anders. But what I want everybody to know, even though we did have winners from first through third, all the kids was winners because they all did receive
Yes.
something. the class of '85 was there, and they made sure, and Club 68, some of the sponsors, and they made sure that every kid did receive something if they did not play. So I think everybody won. It was just the creativity and the things that the kids put inside the paintings, which us as judge, myself and two other judges looked at, that decided the winners of that event. But every kid won.
I love it. I love everything that you guys was able to do on Saturday. It was a great day. Like you said, everyone was a winner when they left there. No one left empty-handed. And you also had your picture was autographed that you gave the kids. That was exciting. Kind of tell some stories about what the kids shared with you.
Oh yeah, well, I know some of the kids they was waiting outside for about 30 minutes to get a card, and I didn't know they didn't get one, and so I went outside and gave them a card, talked to them for a while. They was, I say, it's great to see when somebody get excited about you. You know what I mean? It truly, I mean, I mean that what makes my heart pump. That makes me feel better about myself. I have a little more confidence in myself when others, when I know you got genuine feelings coming from a special child, you know.
That wants nothing but the best in receiving. So I'm gonna bring Miss Sharon Lewis and Pepper Jr. in, and we can give some words, some nuggets to the people, the audience that listened tonight of what this really meant. And we also are still celebrating November the 6th, Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium.
I think we've been celebrating for about a whole 2 months now.
We have.
Truth be told, hey, they talk about celebrating afterwards too, because
it's much deserved, because I know we have a lot of athletes that came from Galveston. I know we have a lot of athletes that's probably been in a college Hall of Fame, but I can't count too many that's been in the NFL Hall of Fame from an NFL team, yet alone in the NFL Hall of Fame.
The first one.
Man, Otis for years been telling him that he was going to get into the Hall of Fame. We even said the big with the gold jacket, because I sit up and watch it every year, and I watch the stat, and I tell you, look here, I'm telling you now, even if I'm here or not, you better mention my name, because I've been telling you for years that you're taking into that Hall of Fame. Like, so we went 1 year, we went to, then after Thanksgiving, we went to the game, and so happened we was on our way to the suite, and it was a big old picture painted on the wall. And we called each other Slap Rock. I got Slap Rock, man, ain't that you? And he thought, man, that ain't me. And I cussed him out. Man, how can you not know it's not you on the phone? This is you. So we took it up ourselves, me and my nephew. We walked all the way around Arrowhead, and he had more pictures on Arrowhead Stadium than any player.
Wow.
Almost
target us down. He didn't believe it.
I never been up, but I never walked up there, so I don't know.
he never knew this, and I told him then, man, that should tell your behind now that you're going to end up going into the Hall of Fame. And me and my nephew, we always check the stats. We always preach about, man, you going. You just better make sure I'll be the first one sitting at that in the front.
He got conditions with it.
But then I always want to sort of
speak.
You know, my father, we got a track team that's coming up. I'm part of a new track team that's going to be in Galveston.
Yes.
It's called the Galveston Vote. And I'm the assistant president, and Coach Myson's going to be the president. You know, he come from a good background from Madison, and then he loved what Galveston have and what we are capable of producing. And I'm glad because that's another one of my dreams that I want to give back is always have a track team. And my brother is backing me on that and everything else. So I'm pretty sure you have more kids next year participating on the track team.
Much more.
Is this the first track Lily track team in Galveston?
Through the test of time of the years, they had it, but they never would stand, and it always falls. So we always had to go across the water, go to Lamar to the Jaguars, and everything gets participating because we never had nowhere to practice.
Wow.
So to have an opportunity to have the kids in practice now, that makes a whole lot better.
We worked out a good situation with Galveston Ball High, so we get the practice on the track.
Get practice on the track.
We went to talk to the AD and they made it happen, and so we got a place to practice.
And to keep the kids busy from all the way from February to the second week of July. That's how long the track season is.
Yes.
And when then they get an opportunity to see if they go to the Nationals, they actually do the extra ceremony like it's the Olympics, where everybody from Texas walk in together with a big tech sign on and everything else. And then some of these kids don't have the opportunity. Because I remember when my children was doing it, man, I had to stand on Palmer Highway and on 45 to get donations to drive all the way to Sacramento, so my kids can run. And this is how long we've been. It was me and late Bobby Bassett was coaching. Coach Eddie Terry, when he was telling you, me and him was coaching and everything else. And one of the kids ran me away. We got into it, and I said, before I lose my man, I had to back away, and I ain't been coaching since then. Now, I'm excited that I really didn't have the opportunity because I was always going offshore, coming back home for them 2 weeks and try to implement track into the kids. And my own kids fired me because they didn't like the way I was coaching, so they ended up going to Eddie Terry. So they liked the way Eddie Terry was soft-spoken. We did the same track schedule, but he was more soft-spoken than I was. Because I had that old curvy coach in me. Going, I was just my way, or you ain't gonna like it whatsoever. I got the opportunity to be with the kids and do what I got to do with them now for that. So I'm looking forward for that too.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Mr. Kimble Anders, we just want to say thank you, Cooney from Galveston. You are our hometown hero. And we're just so happy about what you have achieved. And you're just still that humble person from back in the day, from childhood playing football. And you never forgot home. So I want to personally thank you for that. And you did not forget those who was there for you. And I appreciate that. So anyone else want to say anything else?
Now, what was that? Slaphead or something?
She would go back to
Slap rock.
Slap rock.
What was it?
Actually, that's the name the class of '85 have for each other. Big Willie out. We'll call each other Slap Rock.
You know, somebody do something stupid, or say Slap Rock.
Slap Rock.
Okay. Well, I will say one last thing. I remember Mr. Prince talking about you, but he always said, that guy's kind of different. He's quiet. I ain't gonna tell you what he really said. He ain't like
we'll just
but he always expressed and knew that you had talent and that you were going somewhere. And my Pastor Bain, said to be sure to tell you congratulations, and he's watched you as well in college and in NFL.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Kudos to you.
Yes.
It was a great weekend. A great weekend.
It was, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was great. Yeah. It was just great to see everything come together. His vision manifest in everything, absolutely. All the events. So thank you for having a vision and having us all decide to follow you and to see a great outcome, successful outcome, because the kids were so excited. So excited.
Yeah.
And they left their hope for next year. Yeah, Team 38. So, Mr. Anders, we're going to let you close us out with sharing with everyone what to expect for next year.
Well, I'm going to say this one too, because we are going to do something at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
It's called a Turkey Bowl, and we're going to have a little more information. So we are going to be kind of looking to get a Little League football team. It's going to be 2 games. We're going to start practicing in sometime mid-November, and the kids will play, I guess, sometime before. It's a Turkey Bowl, so late November or after Thanksgiving. They get an opportunity to play 2 games, and me, myself, Pepper, and a couple of guys are going to be out there coaching up the young kids, getting them ready for a couple of games. Now, I'm looking forward to that because I haven't been coaching in a few years, so I'm pretty excited about that. And right now, getting my foundation up and running in Texas. So just trying to really partnership and trying to do some more things in the community and just, like I say, just give back. So I'm looking forward to that, teaming up with, a lot of people and make some things happen in our communities and Galveston, period. And, in this whole Galveston County, because, this whole area is everybody's worthy of having an opportunity to do something. So I'm all for everybody. So just want to be able to do what I can. So I'm looking forward to really getting engaged back in the community.
I think that's remarkable. Anyone want to say anything? Because we're just going to close it out by saying thank you for tuning into Simply Free Little Talk. You've heard it yourself from Mr. Kimble Anders, Mr. Otis Brown, and Mr. Pepper Jr., Edward Benjamin. who's opening his restaurant. Otis, you have several talk shows. I want you to go ahead and mention those. We
Yes,
missed.
please give our social media platforms. I'm also a co-host on Black Love and Marriage Our Way. You can find us on YouTube as well as on Instagram and on Facebook. We kind of talk about marriage our way, and we give some good nuggets on that show from the things that we go through in the marriage. And we reason why we started that show because we don't see a lot of shows with people educating people on marriage about the ups and the downs. We always see the good on television shows, but we don't never see the bad. So we give our insight and we let people participate in that. You can also follow the Upper Room is myself and two other guys that are from Galveston, Texas, born and raised, in Cleveland West, and Larry Murphy. And we talk about everything from life concepts to politics to kids to what's going on in our world, in our society, in our communities. And then last but least, my show, National Scouting Service, which you can find on YouTube as well as on Facebook. I do interview with college athletes, high school athletes, athletes who is trying to get recruited to help them get on a platform for colleges to be able to see them and interact or be able to contact them when they're not able to have that platform to be able to reach out to schools. And a lot of these things are because of that guy that's sitting on the panel when I thought he was firing me and he told me I can get from under his umbrella. So here I am today.
I love it.
Yeah, you got like 1,000 social media. You a social media giant,
Hey,
man.
hey, it keeps me busy and out of trouble.
That's true. That's a good thing. Hey,
I
that's
love it.
you're right. I
Well,
agree.
him and Dominique Brown, they're doing wonderful things. And
Yes,
is
Yes,
it
my
Herbert
beautiful wife.
and Jessica Washington?
Jessica Washington and her husband, Herb Washington, which we all on the panel of Black Love and Marriage. And Jessica and Mr. Herb, they are my cousins through marriage. That's my wife's cousins. So yeah, big shouts out to them as well.
All right. Any shout outs, Pepper? You want to say your
I'm just
restaurant name?
I'm looking forward to November because that's my birthday weekend for
You just
one.
had to put that.
Yeah, he had to throw that out there.
I
He had to throw that out
I tried to get out of it because me. I told him, hey man, I know you want to take your family, and he cussed me out, saying I am family. So he making sure I'm rid
I
of those
can't.
things, yo. But I can say for we got a event coming up Saturday that all the class of '85, me and a couple of cats been talking for years about doing from Lamar, from Hitchcock, from Dickinson, from Texas City, because all of us got along. And so we having a 85 reunion to get together to talk about what the future hosting class reunions together and host like events that going against each other, competition and everything else. And class of 85 always had this one thing: big we lit up, and we stand by that.
Awesome. Awesome. Sharon Lewis.
Again, just an honor. I will not be in the Arrowhead Stadium that weekend, but I will definitely be cheering for you. But I will be in Kansas sometime during the week of the 16th. So I'm going to make sure I go to that stadium and I'm going to walk around and see
Take
all
your
of those
picture.
pictures there. Yes, yes, yes. Again,
That's awesome.
congratulations. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Kimble. We thank you. We're proud of you. We all fans here in Galveston. We thank you. We thank God for what you're doing and what you're bringing back to Galveston. So we'll sign off together. Simply Free Little Talk. I'm your host, Free Little. Tune in. You heard it from all of our guests today, the different things that they're doing. But more importantly, we're supporting Mr. Kimble Anders, who is the Kansas City Chief inductee for 2022.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you.
Right.
Yay, where the balloons?
Pepper got it.